Hello and welcome to the Coaching Crowd podcast with me, Jo Wheatley, and my friend and co-host, Zoe Hawkins.
Hi, everybody. Great to be here again. And this week we're talking about 3 marketing activities that you can use to grow your coaching business. And the reason we're talking about this today is because we were asked inside our Business Lounge membership for coaches what the difference was between a mastermind, a training, a workshop. And we're also going to be running a coaching summit soon, which is another great activity that you can use to grow your business. So we're talking about these marketing activities because as a coach who is running a business or as a coach who is thinking about becoming a coach, it's really important that you do have a marketing strategy and know about different marketing options that are available to you as you seek to develop your presence and your audience and to make people aware of the coaching business that you run. So we're going to share with you 3 different types of activities that you can do to market your business.
And I think one of the things I would say about it is before we had done any of these activities, and we've done all of them now, which we'll talk through with you, it seemed really scary. Even just the thought of doing a masterclass. So in an in-house role, I've designed and presented lots of things to a whole range of different audiences in my career. But when it came to running a masterclass of our own stuff and having to invite and wait and see, is anybody going to sign up for this activity or any of these activities, emotionally felt very, very different. But hopefully today, as we talk through these activities and our experience of them, it'll help to break it down and feel more accessible to you and, give you a pathway or at least some inspiration and confidence around the activities.
It's a real good point there, actually, Jo. I remember chatting to a friend of mine who's an established entrepreneur in another field before I even got into online business and talking to her around different things like masterclasses and trainings. And I remember sharing with her, like, what if no one comes? And I genuinely felt like 12 again, inviting everyone to my birthday party and really worrying that nobody would come. I think it's a real legitimate fear when you first step into business around becoming visible. You have to face into the mindset of rejection and acceptance, and are people going to like you and what you have to say? So these marketing activities aren't just activities, they're part of the mindset journey that you'll go on as a coach and as an entrepreneur and a business owner. So yeah, as we've said, really hope that today provides you with some structure and some things that you can start focusing on to help you to go on that mindset journey as well as on that business journey.
So if we start with the first small step, if you like, which would be running a workshop or a masterclass, as you'll often see them talked about. And that generally is a session that is somewhere between an hour and 2 hours normally. So bite-sized, focus on one specific topic. You would advertise that to your audience on whatever platforms or through whatever in-person networking activities that you do, and you would have a process in place for people to be able to register their interest in joining that activity and exchanging their contact information in return for the joining instructions for the particular event. And that may be run online or it might be run in person, depending on your preference. And then people show up, they attend the workshop. It's usually run as an engaging, interactive session, because really what it is an opportunity to meet for the first time. And it's all about building relationships, and it's about learning, what do the people that are attracted to work with you want you to do? Because sometimes you run a workshop on something, but you'll get feedback and you'll notice from the questions actually that your customers have got a different need. And so that will give you information around what to run next. And at the end of the workshop or the masterclass, we often find that we have some people that stay behind because they want to chat more to us. And it may be around the topic that we've presented on, or it might be broader things around, the coaching world and our expertise, or other ways in which they could connect or work with us. So you'll have sent out reminder emails before the event, and then after the event, you'll have a strategy in place to follow up on the event, to thank people for coming, to ask for feedback, and maybe to share some information with them about the services that you offer and how they could join you on those, if you have the permission to be able to share that information with them.
Yeah, and there can be different purposes for workshops. One may be purely about audience building, so it can be purely about offering a high value workshop to engage your audience and not sell anything off the back of it. You're just a case of welcoming people into your community, getting their contact details, appreciating the GDPR regulations so that you can continue to communicate with them in some way, be that through an email list or offering them some other resources. Or you may run that workshop with a pure purpose in mind, which might be to launch a specific coaching program or group program or something. So you're using that masterclass as part of a pipeline for selling something to those people who are interested. And typically the workshop that you offer would be of high value. So it needs to be engaging enough and inviting enough that people are willing to give up their contact details to be able to attend. And if you have people who are doing that, make sure that the workshop title that you put on delivers what it says in the title, because you're going to want people to come expecting a certain service and then delivering that certain service, so they walk away knowing that, wow, you've delivered them a great experience and that was free. Imagine if that was free, what the paid service must be like. That's kind of the feeling that we try to impart on people that join any of our free workshops and resources.
And if it's a topic that you're really passionate about, that energy is going to come across. And that is so important. Like the feedback we've had so often over the years when we've run things is I can really see and hear your passion. And we're like, yeah, we are really passionate about this. We do really believe in it. And it's that energy that draws people to you as well, because they're like, you're like me, you have this passion for it as well. So it's quite a short period of time that you have a touch point with the audience for just a couple of hours. Whereas if you think about something like a mastermind, that's a whole different kettle of fish, isn't it? So
yeah, and a mastermind can be lots of different things, but the way I think of a mastermind, it's a long-term or longer-term program. So it might be 3, 6, 9, or 12 months, and it's about the coming together of people who are in a similar place. Maybe that's in growing and developing a business or in their mindset or in their leadership journey. So they're coming together with a common problem, if you like, or a common goal. And a mastermind is, yes, it's about the facilitators facilitating a certain journey, but it's also about the power of the group and the shared learning experience that those delegates within that mastermind will go on together. And a mastermind is often multidisciplinary. So you may have within the mastermind some one-to-one services, some workshops, some group learning sessions, maybe some in-person time with some, virtual training sessions as well. So it's very much a blended experience. And really the main purpose is, well, firstly, to achieve whatever the goal is that the mastermind is for, and also for connection and network. So that is often a big flavor of a mastermind. And we have been part of a mastermind, and a mastermind also comes with the essence of what you put in, you also get out. So the more you contribute to a mastermind in terms of that group space and the group support and the group learning, the more you get out of it as a participant and a delegate.
We joined a mastermind because at the time we felt that we didn't know enough other people in a similar business setup or point in their business, and with a similar trajectory to us. We also wanted to spend time with people that were further along the journey than we were. So that kind of saying that if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. That is one of the reasons why we joined the mastermind, is to get into another room. And I think it's often hard to know what you'll get out of a mastermind. They often include social activities, which is a great way to get to know each other as human beings. And one of the reasons that people join a mastermind is because when you build relationships like that and you're in a mastermind with other people, those other people also have audiences of their own that are established. And you may offer something that is complementary to somebody else in the mastermind, and their audience therefore might become your audience as well. And so that can have a huge benefit rather than having to grow your audience one by one by one.
Yeah, so a mastermind isn't a marketing activity per se. It's a service or product that you would offer to your audience. And the marketing activities you can use to launch a mastermind might be a workshop or a challenge, where you would come together, and offer people to come and join you, perhaps on Zoom or in a Facebook Live, and to do a little activity every single day, which accumulates in you launching your mastermind to them. But it's important to differentiate between what a workshop is, which is a very small offering, to what a mastermind is. And of course, when you're doing workshops, they may be paid as well. So you don't have to do a workshop just as a marketing activity. You can offer a workshop as a valuable one-off place where your clients can come and join you to learn what it is you have to offer. And when you do that, the content of your workshop is going to not just cover the surface level, but it will take them deeper into how they can start to affect change in the area that they're interested in as well.
I think also with a mastermind, you have the opportunity to create an offer in your ladder of services or offerings that is a high ticket item. So a mastermind is likely to fall into that category. If you as a coach decide that you're going to run one, that's probably going to be one of your most expensive offerings. And we've talked in previous podcasts around having different entry levels for customers, for clients that want to work with you. So when you're thinking about that ladder, a mastermind might be something that you offer. And I'm sat here also just thinking, really, it's a bit like a leadership development program. If you're in an organization and you've got, you might have a finance director and a marketing director and so on and so on. But maybe you don't know each other outside of your day-to-day roles because you've only ever really spoken, in that sense. But on a leadership development program, you get to know each other at a whole new level. You strip everything back. But you also are drawing on the expertise of those different specialists as you're thinking about what you might offer next, and you're focused on building your visibility in the business and building the relationships that you've got. So whilst these terms may seem new to you, giving the analogy hopefully makes you, oh yeah, I've designed one of those before, I've facilitated one of those before, or even I've been part of that, and so I have an idea of what it has to offer. Same as with a workshop or a masterclass. You yourself might have designed or run them internally, or have commissioned an external partner to come in and run a topic on resilience or well-being or something, anything. So these will be familiar to you, and you can call them what you like. We're calling them these things today because they are terms that are used a lot within the coaching industry and beyond, but you get to call your stuff whatever you want, and that can be fun too.
Yeah, and I guess that brings us to the third one, which we're going to talk about today, which is a summit. Maybe you might think of it as a conference, an online summit. And for us, a summit is stretched across a longer period of time. So rather than a workshop being a 1 to 2 hours, a summit is more a collection of workshops, perhaps over a 1, 2, or 3 day period. And we've been running summits for the last 2 to 3 years. We have a coaching summit, and we'll share details about our coaching summit that you can join and sign up for shortly. And the coaching summit is really about providing your audience with a variety of different workshops all around a theme that is going to be valuable for them. So our audience, we know, is filled with coaches who are already qualified, and also leaders and other people who are aspiring to become a coach, who are interested in coaching and mentoring skills. So our coaching summit is catering to that audience, and we're providing a variety of workshops for us today over a 2-day period, where there is a little bit of something for everybody. And on a summit, your audience might attend 1, 2, 3 particular workshops that are interest them. It's a bit like a pick and mix, where they can dive in and out of different topics that are of real interest to them and the journey that they are on at a particular time.
Yes, kind of like a buffet of coaching. So you can attend all of the sessions, 1 of the sessions, 3 of the sessions, and it's really there to stimulate interest on a particular theme. And the way that we've run our coaching summits in the past is we've used them as a platform to showcase coaches that we have trained or that are part of our Coaching Crowd Business Lounge. And we we provide it to enable them to see behind the scenes of how do you set up a summit or an event? How complicated is it? How do you do the tech? What sort of numbers are involved in that? How would you decide if it's a success or not? How do you communicate with people? How should the sessions be formatted? And what we find is it then gives them the confidence to go on and create their own. And we've had huge success from the summit in the past with speakers actually getting approached by corporates to come in and run workshops or masterclasses in their organization. So you can see how this kind of cycle can work, but doing it for the first time can be tricky. And Zoe and I present at the summit because we're the hosts of the summit. We are the founders of the business lounge. And so we tend to headline the summit as speakers on a particular area of interest to us that is, currently a source of passion, which we're doing this year too.
Yeah. And we find a summit is really about energy, isn't it? It's about bringing people together, igniting energy and enthusiasm for a topic. And so as Joe shared there, for us, it's about showcasing our clients within the business lounge who are growing and developing their coaching businesses. And it's also fueling our passion to spread the word of coaching. So our mission is to make coaching as accessible as possible, for as many people as possible, because we want more courageous and compassionate leaders across organizations. So the more people we can engage into the coaching profession, the better that is for everybody. And so there's a real passion that goes behind the coaching summit for us. And so yes, it raises our visibility, it engages our audience, it expands our audience, it fuels our passion, it fuels our mission, and it provides a platform for our clients who have joined the business lounge, who are using the service that we provide there to grow their businesses. So for us, it's like a three-pronged method to market our business whilst also, fueling our mission. So it brings energy to us when we host these summits, and we hope that it ignites energy within the speakers and also those people that attend. So for you, if you're thinking about doing an event over a longer period of time, you might want to think about who might you collaborate with. So who has a complementary but not necessarily conflicting business that you might want to join forces with to run a variety of different workshops for, or perhaps you've got a number of peers all with different areas of interest within a piece of business or a theme or a market segment. And how can you provide a variety of different workshops and share the experience together? Or maybe you run a summit all on your own, and you provide, maybe 5 or 6 different workshops across a couple of days that people can come and join. And how might you be able to leverage your network and your friends and your audience to help you to build an audience for that? The one thing to remember about a summit, so last year I think we had, is it 750 registrations, or have I made that number up? I think, or maybe it was 500, 750, something along there. In the first year we had like 250, then 500, and I think last year it was 750. Not all of those 750 people will turn up to each and every single session that you run. So when you run a summit, you need to think about having a broader audience, because you'll have a portion of those people attending live. So we are now in a position where we can host a summit and we be confident that we get good attendance at every single session, because we're able to reach out to a broader audience. If you're just starting out, it might be that starting with a workshop would be a better place to start, so you can start to build your audience there, because even with a workshop, not everybody that registers will attend live. I'm sure you've been in that seat yourself, where you register for something that's interesting and then a meeting comes up in your diary and you're like, I'd really like to go to that, but this takes priority. So people are often well-intentioned when they sign up to things, but don't always get around to attending live. So that also enables you to think about, okay, will I record it? Will I send replays? How might I continue to give people value well beyond the time that I've delivered my session for?
And you get to design a summit. So this longer 1, 2, 3 day, so we called it a conference. You might call it a concert, if that helps you to kind of, get a different energy behind it. When I talked about like you being the headline. So if you were a coach and your area of expertise was around health coaching, or it's around confidence coaching, or whatever niche, label that you put on your coaching, you might, as Zoe said, bring together other people that work in a similar kind of field. You might also invite previous clients who could talk about their journey and how the coaching that you gave them on this topic made such a huge difference to them. You might also decide to have a panel, like a Q&A discussion, and you might invite people to send questions to you outside of the summit, or to drop them in live if you're going to, if we want to use things that way, so that you can get as much interaction with your audience as possible. So again, there's no one fixed way to run a summit or a coaching concert, or whatever you want to call it. But what we've talked you through today are 3 different layers or marketing activities that you could consider alongside posting on LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever you normally do, or attending other people's networking events.
Yeah. And of course, when you come into the Business Lounge, we will be able to teach, the Business Lounge teaches you all of the different elements that are involved in being able to put together something like this. And you have a community that is there to ask these questions to. So you have coaches that have come before you, you have coaches that are ahead of you in the journey, and everyone comes together to support each other to be able to put on these different activities. Part of doing something like this is having someone who's got your back and knowing that you are supported. And we see many of our Business Lounge members attending first-time workshops, webinars, masterclasses, summits, whatever it might be, to give support to their fellow members. It's a really great community, and we'd love you to come and join us in the Business Lounge if that's of interest. But for now, what we would invite you to do is to sign up for our 2-day coaching summit. You can do that by heading over to igcompany.co.uk/summit. Take a look at the wonderful speakers that we've got lined up over the course of the 2 days. Joe and I will be doing a session on a new wave of coaching training, which is all about coaching with emotions at the heart of your coaching qualification. So we would really love to see many of you come to our session, and you can sign up once at igcompany.co.uk/summit and attend any of the sessions that appeal to you for those 2 days.